What can you find at premierequestrian.com? We have arena footing, products of crumb rubber, and textiles. We sell arena sand, arena mat systems, and ebb and flow systems. We offer a full line of drags and arena maintenance tools, hydration and dust control, soil stabilization for driveways, walkways, and paddocks, barn flooring like stall mats and rubber pavers for aisles, walkways, and wash racks. We feature an extensive line of dressage arenas, letters, and boxes. The list is long, and we are always adding new products for your arena, farm, and barn. Come explore premierequestrian.com.
Everybody talking about Piaffe and passage and flying changes. I tell you, those are really not difficult movements when we bring the horse careful and building up in a correct basic. When we build up in a correct basic, then the difficult exercise they call won't be hard. We are great difficulty in the basic.
In this final volume of Walter Zettl's Matter of Trust video series, we move into the upper level exercises. It is important to keep in mind that the movements such as Piaffe, Passage, and One Tempes have their roots in such basic exercises as walk-trot transitions and walk-canter transitions, among others. It is the basic exercises that define the upper level movements. If the basics are not correct, then the upper level movements will not and cannot be correct. Classical dressage training works by building a solid foundation in the basic movements, whereby the upper level movements come with the horse barely recognizing it. Of course, no one will learn to ride Grand Prix by merely watching a video. This series is to give a detailed overview of Walter Zettl's training concepts and practices that are classical dressage training. To accomplish the upper levels of training, much is needed, from a competent trainer and ground person to a well-confirmed horse. But perhaps more important is the attitude and approach taken by the rider and trainer. An attitude of force and dominance will produce results that are mechanical and fear-based. By nature, this is not in your horse's best interest. If the attitude is one of mutual respect and trust, then the horse will flourish in brilliance, reaching its highest potential.
Our relationship has to be really a partnership. And the partnership, like in every partnership, is between wife and husband, is the same with our horse, the trust. We have the horse's trust, and we have to trust our horse, and respect his nature instinct. With the nature instinct, we should not kill or force it out of our training. Or contrary, we should train our horses around this nature instinct. And then we are really have the horse as a partner and not as a slave, where he do everything but nothing will be brilliant, nothing will be great.
The main goal of this video series is to teach the importance of bringing the horse through the training stages in a partnership based on trust and compassion. The rider has to go to work daily with a positive attitude. The horse feels your deepest thoughts. One has to treat their horse as an equal partner, a relationship that is built on trust for one another, a trust that must be renewed daily. The rider must respect the natural instincts of the horse and must form the work accordingly. Only then can you go to the limit without hurting the horse physically or mentally. To begin the work shown in this video, the rider must have developed the most refined aids: a deep, quiet seat, soft and steady contact, quiet legs and upper body. The horse must be flexible in both directions as well as go straight. All lateral and collecting movements should be confirmed in both directions. All transitions between the gaits must come smoothly and effortlessly. It must be emphasized that beginning this work too early can only lead to disaster.
This is also when we get to the Grand Prix, we should not train the horse every day the same. Not, the horse should have fun on all the exercises we do with him. If it is a volte, if it is a circle, if it is a Langston and back, the horse must be keeping also busy. That means do many stuff, different. And what, of course, when we do this, then they should be also correct. Like circles, voltes, Langstons, shorter, shoulder in, travers, renvers. So many exercises are to keep the horses occupied and makes him for the horse also more interesting.
In this series, we have talked extensively about the training scale. This concept is extremely vital in all stages of training, including the upper levels. Rhythm, relaxation, contact, schwung, and straightness all lead to collection, which in turn brings suppleness. Only by this can we expect to ride a harmonious and powerful Grand Prix with our horse. We have studied the tempi changes in earlier volumes of this series. To complete this study here, we look at 2 tempis and 1 tempis. We start on the right lead. The rider gives a clear half halt on the outside rein before turning onto the diagonal. The outside leg of the rider stays in good contact with the horse's body and takes care that the horse does not drift off the desired straight line of the diagonal. Then, when the horse is nicely straight and is not trying to wander left or right, and the canter is steady and energetic, the aids for the first change can begin. The rider gives the horse the new position to the left when the old inside front leg is landing, without pulling. It should happen with a very light hand. The new inside seat bone is pushed down and forward in the saddle. Automatically, the rider's left leg moves slightly forward without losing contact with the horse's side. The right leg slides a little back, also staying on the horse's body, and the first change is done. Most importantly, the canter should be maintained. The rider counts the aids and changes the horse's position to the right after stride number 1, when the old inside front leg is landing. Then, the new inside seat bone is pushed down and forward in the saddle, while the right leg moves slightly forward along the horse's body. The right leg is now the forward driving leg. The outside leg moves back, the final signal for the change. These aids are used repeatedly every 2 strides. The rider should remember to concentrate on a good, springy canter. One should start with the 1 tempis only when the 2 tempis are well confirmed. Always introduce the one-tempo changes to your horse on the short side of the arena. The short side is the place where the horse is often brought back together after an exercise has fallen apart on the long side or diagonal. So the horse has additional confidence in his rider and surroundings on the short side. This usually works well for the first two changes. Then they can be tried on the diagonal.
Yeah. Keep it nice up and only two changes, huh? Not more. Easy, easy, and now, chop, chop, yes. Again, chop, chop, yes. Again, chop, chop, yeah, wonderful. And walk. Super. Very nice. And let go. Very nice. Did you see? This is the way what I would train the horses to go one tempo, yeah? That means when you try to get too much changes in at once, then you mix the horse up, and then it goes. Through this, make two changes and then go straight. And two changes, and then later on, you can bring the distance between the changes closer and closer together, and then you have the series without any effort. But don't try to make a 3, 4, 5, 6. Make only first the twos. You know, 2 once, and then goes and again. To get the changes straight, one should ride always more forwards, not too fast. Every jump should be long, and in the change forwards and make the aids more with your hip than with your legs. That's what we many times one see the legs, they throw the legs so far back, and then the horse of course have to move sideways, and that's why we should make more with hip and then with the legs. That's why we had to ride with my boss in side saddle and to learn all the flying changes, to do it only out of the hip and not so much legs. And then also the upper body through this stays quieter than when we throw the legs, force him back. And by taking the legs too far back, the horse the legs gets into the soft spot. And this is very ticklish for the horse, especially for mares, and then you see this tail switching. When you do with the hip, you hardly see any tail switching. Jawohl, up and soft, not too strong, up and soft, making nice soft. Good, good, good. Half halt and then gentle, half halt and gentle. So the jump is not so hard down to the ground. Good, good, good. Easy, yeah. Half halt and then give. Half halt and then give. Super, super. Yeah. Now half halt left before the corner. Yes, yes. Oh, because then in the corner I can get better collection. Easy, easy, yes. Okay, easy, good, good. Ja, fine so. Jawohl. Good. You see, they were very nice and light, huh? And not tense. Keep him so. Half all right. Yes. Easy, easy. Yeah, good. Keep him so. Wonderful. Yeah. Careful. Yes. Half all right again, and then soft. Yeah, keep it up there. Good. So wonderful. Look in the mirror. Good, good. Always, so the ball is the highest point. Good. Take your time. Take your time. Yes. Very nice so. Very nice. Huh? Easy. Yeah. Just you were a little bit too sure, huh? Let's ride once more forwards on the long side. Forward, forward, forward. Move on, move on, move on. Yeah, up and let go. Now half whole left. And let's make the once more. Keep it nice up. Yeah, half a left and let go. Half a left and soft. Good, and flexion and soft. Flexion, soft. Good, 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 good. Keep going. Yes, 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 yes. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Give him a little bit of rest. Good, good. You see, they were very nice. Well, one jump exactly like the other. That's right, that's right. No, but with too much legs, that's what you saw on the Olympiad. They swing then this way, you know, and it doesn't look good anyway. And it's not necessary.
The Piaffe is essentially a trot movement executed almost on the spot, with the diagonal pairs of legs moving in accentuated elevation. With a high degree of collection and strong flexion of the haunches, the horse's legs are lifted vertically and held up for a relatively long moment. The legs are lifted and lowered on vertical lines. The forearms of the horse's front legs almost reach a horizontal line when each is lifted in the Piaffe. The hind feet stay very close to the ground, enabling the haunches to carry much of the horse's weight. The hind hoof should raise only to the level of the opposite fetlock. When it rises too high, then the forehand takes up too much of the weight in order to keep the horse in balance, and the forelegs are unable to elevate enough, or start to cross, swinging left and right.
Teaching the horse a Piaffe, I have the feeling the best is really out the half steps. The half step means the horse is thrusting because the hands gives forwards, and so it can go forwards in the most powerful movements. Then after months and years, depends on the horse, you bring this back shorter and shorter till the horse goes Piaffe and he don't recognize it. And this is then, when the horse do the most difficult exercise and he hardly recognizes it, then we did lead him right there. When the horse goes to half step very, very trustful, and he's trusting my hand, so I can just close a little bit and drive a little bit more, and then start in the Piaffe. And then when the Piaffe is fine, then you can go out anytime, you can go back anytime. So it's the same what I did show here. When the horse goes a very good Piaffe, you go forwards, you bring him back to the Piaffe, you ride him forwards again with half steps, and again the Piaffe. And the same when they trust you, and then you can even go back in the Piaffe backwards. But not when the horse not going good Piaffe forwards. Change your diagonal once more. Nice up and soft, a little bit shorter, but don't change the rhythm. Out, out, out and back. Out, out, out. Yeah, see what I mean? And back, very gentle, out. Yeah, before the rhythm changes. Huh? Good, out, boys, and back. Good, out. Yes, before it gets too strong for him. Huh? Mm-hmm. Then he's losing the balance. Super, and again shorter. Good, good, out. Super, super. So now let's go through a diagonal a little longer, the steps. Let go. Come, come, a little more, come on, come on. Good, good, good. Yes. And collecting trot, very soft, give, soft. Let's do this once more, extend the trots through the diagonal, keeping nice up, Gigi. Keeping good up, and let go. Jump up and let go, give. Yeah, come, a little bit more. Yes. Now the engagement. Use the stick it down a little bit, again a little bit more. Good, 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 good. Haha, look at that now. Super. Change to a diagonal, collecting, collecting, collecting. Yes, out, out. And collecting, very soft, not too strong. Soft, forwards, forwards, forwards. Soon as he starts this hashi. Good, out, good, 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 out. And back, out. Yeah, and back, out. So the horse is not getting this feeling for without the rhythm. Mm-hmm. Yes, shoulder. Give, 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 give. You stick a tiny little bit, very gentle. Change your diagonal again. Shorter, softer, shorter, softer. Super, out. Wonderful, wonderful. Come, and back, very gentle, and out. Yeah, so it's not getting the feeling for it. Ah, careful, careful. You see, one step was already uneven. Mm-hmm. Out, 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 and back. Good, out, yeah, well.
Is technically the trot, the extended trot, and the collected trot about the same rhythm?
Same rhythm.
Same rhythm.
Only the tempo changes. Good, good, super, out. Yeah, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Soft, soft, wonderful, wonderful. Ha ha. Look at that now. Huh?
Yeah,
See what I mean?
Yes.
And walk. Very nice.
Yeah, look at
And
that.
give him the rest. Wonderful. Did you feel now? So don't ever allow the horse to change the rhythm. Through this short step, the horse get the trust. Door is open for him. Then he will make a brilliant piaffe, and the rider can go out any second. When he like to go out, the horse will go out, and not like a former student did call me. Is again remembering I have, and she did call up, Walter, can you help me? I have such a trouble with my horse. He goes such a very good piaffe, but I can't get him out after piaffe. He stays there. Doesn't make a difference how long I try to get him out. The first thing what I had to tell him, I say, look, first of all, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your horse is not a good piaffe. He don't have a good piaffe. This is a piaffe for a mechanical, and not from a gymnastic. From really to give him the feeling he can go out anytime. So what you should do, forget the piaffe, ride him again forwards, bring him back in short steps, go out immediately, and then you will see you won't have trouble. After a couple months, she did call me up. She said, wonderful, my horse, I can ride out and in when I like to. And he's happy with this. Yeah, half on left. Left hip a little bit more now. Good, 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 good. Half all gentle, a little shorter now. A little bit shorter, not too strong. Not too strong, not too strong. Yes, 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 yes. Open up a little bit more the left door. And back again, back again. Bring him back, bring him back. Not too strong, yes, yes, yes. And out again, couple steps. Yeah, yeah, and back again. Soft, soft, soft. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Ah, now we're cooking. Good, very nice. Ausgezeichnet. Jawohl, Ma'am. Half on the outside. Good, good, good.
The correct seat of the rider is key in the piaffe work. the rider's weight should be evenly distributed on both seat bones, but not too heavy. The legs should be long and quiet, activating the horse in the right-left rhythm of the Piaffe. The hands should be still but supple in order for the horse to accept the rein contact correctly. The rider should feel he has the horse in front of him. Often, riders over-aid their horses in Piaffe. It is important to study and communicate with the horse to find out just how much aid is needed. The quieter the rider sits, the more careful he can be with his aids, the more the horse will pay attention to the rider and the better the horse can respond. When training with a whip, it is recommended that the rider not rely on the effect too much. In FEI competition, the whip cannot be carried at all. Therefore, the rider should not force the horse with the whip when at home. Throughout his training, we have limited the use of the whip to reinforce the leg. We should not give up this principle now. When the horse does not react enough to the rider's leg, one can use the spur briefly to engage the hind leg. The same rule applies for spurs as for the whip. The spur should be used precisely and in just the right moment, not as a substitute for correct training or careful aids. The passage is an elevated, floating trot movement with relatively little length of stride. As the horse continues in the two-beat rhythm, the tempo slows to create a slow-motion effect. The passage may be more difficult than the Piaffe because the horse must have the maximum engagement of the haunches as well as go forward. The aids for the passage are essentially the same as those for the Piaffe. When making transitions from Piaffe to passage, the rider emphasizes the driving aid of the seat slightly and lets the horse move forward into a giving hand. As in the Piaffe, he should sit deep, but not heavy, sitting quietly with the motion, not swinging left or right.
The classic preparing the passage is out of the Piaffe. The Piaffe the passage is more difficult because in the Piaffe the horse can do those elevation trot movements on the spot without he have to move forwards too. Now when we go now into the passage, the rider should always think to continue the Piaffe. That means he do the same aids, but let the Piaffe now out. But he keeps continue so if he try to keep and continue the Piaffe. When he's in the passage, then you have to ride every step so if you like to go back anytime, also back to the Piaffe. Now we say he's in the passage, powerful and good engaged. The rider should thinking he is riding extended, but to half haul without pulling too much, he brings the horse easy and gentle back into the Piaffe and continue the same aids and believe, or he should think, I ride now the Piaffe short. So he gives the same aids without changing. It's so important. As soon as the horse loosens the rhythm, forget it. Don't allow the horse to go out of the balance, out of the rhythm. As soon as you have the feeling to get out of the balance, forget it, go forwards again, bring it back again, go forwards again. Huh? So the horse must really always be alert. Huh?
The idea that the horse is allowed out into passage defines a good tendency to go forward in the Piaffe. This is the same as transitions made from collected to extended trot. The horse is allowed to go forward, not chased or pushed. Thus, we see that the foundation for the passage starts far, far earlier, all the way back to the transitions from walk to trot. That is where the fundamentals of the right aids at the right moment begin. When the horse is strong, supple, and the rider's aids are refined and harmonious, the passage half-pass can be introduced. The aids are exactly the same as in trot half-pass, riding with good bending, but not too much, taking and giving the inside rein, keeping the rein well against the neck. Occasionally, one will need an inside half halt to keep the shoulder from falling in too quickly, but in general, the outside half halt, together with the outside leg, is needed to move the horse sideways. It is essential that one waits until the passage is 100% reliable, and that the half pass is perfect at walk, trot, and canter in both directions. Always maintain more forward than sideways movement, with the front legs leading slightly into the direction of the half pass. The rider must sit very quietly to avoid disturbing the horse in his back and in his movement. The movement must remain swinging. In the transition from passage to piaffe, the rider should give the aids for continuing the passage, only gradually asking for a slower and slower passage. It is very important not to ask too soon for the piaffe steps on the spot. It is better to ride the passage slower and slower, less and less forward, but in the same rhythm. The rider, in getting into the piaffe, should not give the piaffe aids in a faster rhythm. The alternating leg aids going into the piaffe should be gradually a little slower. Otherwise, the resulting piaffe will be like a sewing machine.
Out. A little bit forwards now, a little bit, but a little bit, good, forwards, come, a little bit more forwards now. Soft, forwards, good, go into the passage now, not too strong, not too strong, up and let go, up and let go, yes, yes, and bring him back, shorter, shorter, yes, and pirouette, shorter, softer, half a left, half a left, half a left, soft, half a left, good, half a left, soft, yes, 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 and out, out, come, a little bit more, up and soft, yes, go to the left, up and let go, outside leg, yes, super, super, yeah, very nice, up, good, turn left, easy, up, outside leg, easy, and half pass, not too strong, half a left, not too strong, half a left, keeping up a little bit, yes, 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 now we're cooking, straight, and half pass to the right, half all right, and soft, good saw, half all right again once more, good, 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 yes, fine saw, very nice, good, and a little bit longer, and shorter, and a little bit longer, and shorter, get your reins down a little bit shorter, change diagonal, a little bit longer, just a little bit, come, and shorter now, shorter, softer, shorter, still shorter, good, soft, good, yes, you will see today the left hind leg is already better. And again forwards in the passage, easy, keep it up there, good saw, and shorter, softer, soft, good, so he can really move and walk. Ha, madame, do you see what I mean?
In this series, we have tried to communicate the absolute requirement of building a strong, trusting relationship between horse and rider. This is the base foundation of Walter Zettl's training message. On this foundation, we build step by step through the basics without shortcuts or force. Once the basics are mastered, we progress onto more and more difficult movements and transitions, never forgetting the foundation of trust. Never forgetting that this trust must be renewed every time we ride.